Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, the official windshield washing person, and this is Daisy, the official muscles behind the operation. And together we're hauling paws. In this video we are going to be talking about permits for New Mexico and Arizona. This will be the first time that I'm going through those two states and I have to pick up those permits. So this will be a learning process for everybody. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss this. I want to thank you for tuning back in for this video. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button, please do that. Give me a click down there. But this video is kind of a big deal for me because this is the first trip out since I have started doing this full-time. Honest to God, I'm doing it all the way. I just finished delivering in Wichita, Kansas. Now I've been there before, so it wasn't a big deal. This particular one, though, it was a little bit different. The last time I was there, it was like 105 degrees. This time it was snow flurries. And it took me, it took about 2 hours to get checked in. It was an hour and a half before they even came out to even check the camper. So, and then it was another half hour of them checking it out, and then I got out. So this is a big deal. I'm headed back to Goshen now to pick up a travel trailer bumper pull. Can't remember how long it is. I think it's like 31, but it's going to Avondale, Arizona. So I'm gonna have to go through New Mexico and Arizona and get permits. Now, I've already been through and got the Idaho permit and the Wyoming permit, and I did a video on those. I'll put it up here so you can click on that and see the process for getting those permits. Idaho's really simple. Wyoming's simple too, but you actually have to go in and do it. Idaho, you can call, but then you got to stop and print it out with your printer because it has to physically go in your window. Wyoming doesn't have to go in your window. I don't know what the rules are for New Mexico and Arizona. I just know that I have to get them. So we are going to do that in this video. This video is also going to be a little bit of a travel vlog for going to Arizona because since I've been hauling for Wave, I haven't been there. I haven't gone through New Mexico or Arizona, so we'll be hitting both of those. So we'll see what's out there. One disappointing thing that I didn't pack this time was my snake stick. Really bummed on that. I've got one of those grabby snake sticky things where you can grab a rattlesnake, and I've been really wanting to use it, but I forgot to pack it this time. It's in my basement at home. I wanted to catch a rattlesnake or possibly catch a rattlesnake while I was down in Arizona. We've been trying for about 15 years and we have not come across a rattlesnake, and we've been to the Grand Canyon and we've been all over the place in the Southwest as a family on vacations, but have not come across any rattlesnakes. So now that I don't have my snake stick, I'll probably see 4,000 of them. So I'll have to catch one with just a regular stick. So we'll see how that goes. So right now I'm just a little south of Kansas City, Missouri. Headed, like I said, headed back to Goshen to pick up this other one going to Arizona. The one that I just dropped off in Wichita, Kansas was my largest camper so far, but it wasn't the longest distance. It was 85 pounds under my maximum gross. My maximum gross for a trailer is 14,500. That one was a 42-foot fifth wheel with 5 slides, and it was just under my maximum for non-CDL pulling. But the trip went pretty well. I didn't really do a vlog on it because I'd been to Wichita and I made a video about going to the same dealer. I'll try to put the link up here if you want to go back and check out the Wichita trip. This trip I had to deal with a whole lot of windy weather. It was borderline for a long distance. You know, it was in the low 20s and pushing up there, and then once I got into the evening, it started gusting at, it was said it was gusting at 40 or 45, and to me it felt like it was blowing 40 all the time. Even though all the apps and stuff said that it was like 19 or 20 or 22, it felt like 40. That big camper got pushed around a lot. So I had to shut it down about an hour sooner than I wanted to. So it put me a little bit behind the time today. As you can see over here, the sun's going down, so I'm a little bit behind time. I've only got about 5 hours drive time left, maybe 4.5 maybe by now. And then I'll have to shut it down for the night. But hopefully we'll get picked up in the morning, or picked up tomorrow sometime, and then start heading out to Arizona. Well, that happened. Daisy's in for a bath. I replaced the fuel filter, not the filter, the fuel filler, because the other one rusted out, and I got a cheap one online, and evidently the cap doesn't seal the same as it did on the OEM fuel neck. So when I turned on my auxiliary tank and it filled the main tank, it overfilled the main tank and ran fuel everywhere. It was everywhere. It was all over the axle, all over the tires, all over the back mud flap, all over the tailgate, all over the side of the truck. Underneath is now undercoated, so shouldn't rust too bad for a while, I guess. But I did have to come over here and wash all that crap off. And I didn't notice it till I was in the yard ready to pick up the unit. So now I'm going back over to the yard to get the unit. I'm thinking that the business is picking back up. This is the Walmart in Goshen, and there are transporters everywhere here. All the way over there is all transporters. Over there, there's a bunch of them. So that's a good thing. Got my fuel issue fixed. Well, not really fixed, but taken care of. And now I'm set up to sleep for the night. So, good night. I just ran into the one and only, well, would it be the two and only? The two and only Transport Bandits in Goshen. That was pretty cool. Cheryl and Mr. Dimples were at the Walmart. They just got back from Canada. They got in late. I was finishing up my 10-hour, and I wish I would have had more time to visit with them, but it just went back on the clock and I needed to get rolling. So, but it was good seeing you guys. Have safe travels out there. Maybe we'll have more time to stop and have a coffee together later on. If you don't subscribe to their channel, then click this. I don't know if I could put it here, but I'll put a little picture here at least, and look them up. It's Transport Bandits on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. They got a lot of great information, a little different take on the industry. They do a lot more of the seeing stuff kind of end of it, but they got a lot of good information too. They're team drivers, and they just put out a video of how team driving works for them. It's really good, a lot of great information. I wish I could get my wife to come out and do some team driving with me, but she doesn't pull trailers. So it's story time. I'm somewhere on 55 headed south. But I had an issue last night, and and I wanted to kind of tell you the story about it. In this industry, you're going to run into problems. Eventually, you're going to run into some kind of problem. Some of them will be small problems, some will be bigger problems, but the way that you react to those problems can shape how you feel about the entire load that you're taking the next few days. It can put you in that kind of a mood, or it can shape how you feel about the industry as a whole. And maybe you think, well, I had this problem and it's just not worth it. So anyway, things just happened. Last night, driving along, I picked up in the dark. It was snowing, and I got everything hooked up and everything was fine, and I took off down the road. I wanted to get to the other side of Chicago before I had to shut down for the night. I hate waking up east of Chicago and then having to drive through Chicago in the morning. It always puts me in a bad mood, and it ruins my day for most of the rest of the day. I just hate Chicago. So I got to the other side of Chicago, but between Chicago and Joliet, I lost my trailer lights. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know I run with my lights on 24/7, and I'm always watching the little marker lights on the side of the camper, and even in the daylight, it tells me if my tail lights in the camper are working, or it probably tells me. In general, if those lights are working, then the rest of the lights are working too. But I glanced back, didn't see any lights on this side. Glanced over, didn't see any lights on that side. Now this one's a little harder to see, and in that other video I talked about, there was a camper that I just couldn't see, so you have to do that wiggle thing to try to get to see the side lights. But I could see these ones, and they were not working, so I had to pull over. So I pulled over on the side of the highway between Chicago and Joliet on 80. In the dark, it was snowing, and the wind was blowing like crazy. And I got back there to try to figure out what the problem was. And I figured it came unplugged. That's usually the cause of losing your lights. It became unplugged. But I was plugged in. My brake controller had the light on it. It said it was plugged in. But the little indicator down there was flashing. So I had to do a little bit more searching. And after a few minutes of searching around, but staying calm, knowing that I just had to take care of the problem so I could keep going. So I was wiggling wires and doing stuff, checking out everything, and I saw the lights on the camper flicker just a little bit. So then I started chasing wires, and I found that where they bolt the ground wire to the frame of the camper, it wasn't tight. It was like 2 turns in. I don't think it came loose coming down the road. I think it just never was put in correctly at the factory. So back to the truck, got out my immediate emergency toolkit. You can go back and look at that video, what I have in my immediate emergency toolkit. Grabbed a hold of my pliers, cranked it down, lights came on, I'm back on the road. Everything's been fine ever since. But just stuff like that will happen. You might end up getting a flat tire. You got to put a plug in a tire. Stuff like that will happen. I've had a flat tire. It was actually pulling into the dealer lot that I picked up the nail, so I didn't actually have to put the plug in. But if it would have happened on the side of the road, I would have. But it's all about your attitude in this. If you freak out on the smallest problem, you're just not going to have a good time doing this. So we're getting ready to cross into Texas. This trip has been pretty uneventful. Just rolling along. Nothing really fantastic that I've seen on the road. Here's the border for Texas. Gotta honk the horn, hang on. I know, my horn sucks. Shut up. I've seen a lot of fields with cotton. lot of fields with cows. Some cows over there. But other than that, just been cruising along. I'm 2 hours and 38 minutes from the New Mexico port of entry. So that's where we're going to pick up to find out what you got to do to get a New Mexico permit. Brand new thing for me. I hear it's not a big deal. You just go in, pay, and you leave. And I looked it up, and it said that particular port of entry was open 24 hours a day, but you can't always be guaranteed that that's correct. So I wanted to get there before 5, and that's working out. I actually was going to be cutting it really close, and then I realized that there was another time change, so it actually benefited me. That's weird. Along the side of the road over here, I don't know if you can see it, and yeah, you can see it in the video there. Along the side of the road's a bunch of white stuff, and it looks like just like trash and stuff like that, but that's cotton that is blown out of a field somewhere and stuck on the side of the road there. Oh, and for all of you running in the north in November, it's 80 degrees here, and I had to take my hoodie off, and the air conditioner's on. Well, here we are, exactly 15 miles after you cross the border. You're gonna stop at the port of entry thing here. Now, I've got my cab book, so we're gonna go in and see what it takes to get a trip permit for New Mexico. Well, it turns out that the only thing that you need for a permit for New Mexico is a mask and 30 bucks. You go in, it took 7 or 8 minutes. There was hardly anybody in there, but I made a mistake. Okay, over there, you have to go over the scales first and then pull into the parking spot. I didn't do that, so normally you'd have to pull back around and go back across the scales, but he said I'm under 26,000 pounds, so he said go ahead and go. But in the future, pull across the scale first and then go in and get your permit. Piece of cake. It is delivery day for the Arizona run. It's going just outside of Phoenix, and I am about 28 miles from the Arizona port of entry, where we'll find out what it takes to do an Arizona permit. Another new thing for me. Hopefully it's like New Mexico was and no big deal. But I woke up to all of this. I got in to the pilot back there in Jamestown, New Mexico. And when I woke up, all this rock and little mesas and things like that were out there. Being from Michigan, this is different terrain for me, so I find this super beautiful. This trip has been, I wouldn't say challenging, but it's had a lot of little tiny things that were annoying or I had to fix and things like that. So there's little wire problems and chain problems. Then I got to the pilot there and no showers because they were out of cold water. I don't know how you run out of cold water. Probably some kind of pipe problem. Nah. Actually, it's probably an employee problem. They probably don't have enough employees to clean the showers, so they just shut them down. Put up a sign and said it was because of water, not because of employees. That was a big pilot. It was in Jamestown, New Mexico, 450 parking spots. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get a spot, but I pulled in and they had some RV parking there. Pulled in around, I don't know, there were 4 or 5 other transporters there, mostly Indiana transport. So I backed into a little spot in the corner and crashed out for the night. Got some good Z's. The Temp got down to about 43. I wasn't running the truck last night, so I woke up just a little chilly. So as soon as I woke up, I hit the remote start on the truck, get the heat rolling. So here we are at the port of entry. See how this works. Let's see, commercial vehicle scales. I think I'm going to do this like the other one and go over the scale first and then park. Hi. I have not. Nope. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so yes, you go over the scale first, and then you get this piece of paper. Get parked here for a second. Okay, so you get this piece of paper and it says 1 ton truck with 2-axle trailer. It tells me what my weight is. My total weight is 16,560. Cool. Okay, so now we'll go find out what it costs for a permit to Phoenix, Arizona. So that was a little more painful. You gotta park here, then you gotta go over there into the little room there. Let me get in the truck and I'll tell you what you need. Okay, so you need your truck registration. You need the weight slip that they just gave you when you drive through there and get it from the lady. You need your BOL. You need your the Arizona oversized permit. You need to know the exact route that you're taking through Arizona to get to where you're going. And I'm going to Phoenix. And I mean specific, not just I'm going over to Flagstaff and headed south. You need to know the highway. And then it's like, I'm going over to 17 and then going south. And then she's like 17 to 10. And I'm like, I don't know. So I had to Google it while I was in there. Just find out, yeah, 17 to 10. You need to know the exact manufacturer of your camper, which mine was Forest River, and on the BOL it didn't say Forest River on the BOL. It said it on a different piece of paper that I had, but she asked me if it was Forest River or something else, and I had to look and find out it was Forest River. And you have to have $100. Holy crap. I'm pretty sure she screwed something up because there was another guy going to Mesa, which is further than me, and I think his was like $85, but mine was $100. So that's kind of a bummer because my paperwork says the maximum reimbursement is going to be $87. So I think I'm going to have some words with somebody because I'm getting that $100 back one way or the other. And it took about a half hour. I had to wait about 10 minutes in line because there were a lot of people in there. And then the lady that I had, it just took a long, long time. She was typing and typing and typing. And I don't know what she was typing, but I just stood there for 20 minutes while she typed into the computer and then printed the stuff out. And $100, and then I'm down the road. $100 seems kind of steep. Well, now I'm just trying to get out of Phoenix. I think it's going to take a while. The trip was no traffic until this. But Phoenix is pretty full. I think they should close the doors and not let anybody else in, because this is ridiculous. I think I'm gonna go stand on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. So if you got something good out of this video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And as always, have safe travels, and I hope to see you on the road.